Hello everyone, I'm Dennis Spielman, and thank you for joining me for the Oklahoma Venture Forum podcast. Today I'm joined with...
I'm Brent Wheelbarger with Viribus VR Labs.
So tell us a little bit about your company.
So Viribus is a home therapy system designed for children with cerebral palsy. And basically it's a sensor suit that they wear with motion tracking sensors on their body, wirelessly communicating with a virtual reality headset, and the suit becomes the controller in the games that they play, and then so playing the games, they do their therapy. And it's all designed to be done at home.
Yeah, I saw this at Dead Center Film Festival where you're sort of demonstrating that and some of the other technology. But I want to know like your why, like how you got started with that.
Okay, well that's an interesting story. So the guy that actually started Viribus, the mastermind behind it, his name is Bob Eskew. He's a physical therapist here in Oklahoma City. He works with children who have cerebral palsy. He actually has cerebral palsy himself. Back in the 90s, he was at a conference and they were talking about neuroplasticity, the ability for the brain to rewire itself around damaged areas, to regain use of an arm or something like that. And he had this idea that he thought you could use virtual reality to maybe impact how neuroplasticity happens. But that was a long time ago, and Lawnmower Man was, that was where we were at that point in VR technology. It wasn't there. But at the same time that he was at that conference, Bob was also an assistant scoutmaster with a Boy Scout troop that I happened to be in. And so he was one of my scoutmasters. And years later, I became the scoutmaster of that same Boy Scout troop, and his son joined the troop. So I became his son's scoutmaster. And so the whole thing came full circle, and we reconnected, and Bob recognized that the company I was working with, which was Trifecta Communications, we were doing work in AR, VR, and the light bulb came on, and he said, hey, let's work together, and let's fulfill this vision that I had back in the 90s, and so that's what we did.
That's awesome. So how's that impacted people so far?
Well, so the product isn't out to the public yet. We're in the testing phases right now. It releases in May.
I guess how's testing coming along?
But testing is coming great. The system is, had a number of technical hurdles to have to get through to make everything work seamlessly the way that we want it to. But the response from the cerebral palsy community has been visceral. The fact that we're even developing a system specifically designed to address that group. The phone calls and the emails that we get are sort of along the line of, when can I buy it, and where do I send the check? I don't care how much it costs. I must have this.
Yeah.
And so that's exciting. But I think what's more exciting is the research, the science behind what we're doing. There's a growing body of research that indicates that VR can actually accelerate neuroplasticity. That because of the visual input in an immersive environment that you're getting through the VR headset, you can accelerate the brain's ability to rewire. And the research is very early. Hampton University has done a study that's peer-reviewed that seems to show that effect. There's a couple others around the country. And so our goal is, first and foremost, to create a good therapy product that kids can use at home that will help them do their therapy in the home setting. But we actually also have an ulterior motive. We want to push the envelope on how far and how fast can you make the brain rewire with the tool of virtual reality as the mechanism. It's our belief that there will be triggers, there will be protocols, there will be mechanisms that you can build into a game that will cause your brain to rewire faster than normal. And so a lot of the research that we'll be doing with some educational institutions around the country using our system will be charged with figuring out what are the things you can put into a game in a VR environment using a suit as a tool to control the game. What are the things you can do that can actually speed that up? And how fast can you speed it up?
Wow.
And we want to push we want to know what are the limits of how fast, where's light speed, for neuroplasticity. So that's part of our mission, is to figure out, using this game system as a tool, how quickly can you make neuroplasticity happen, and what are the parameters necessary to do that?
Yeah, because recovery time can be years even.
It can be decades, and that's important to note. A kid with cerebral palsy that's doing physical therapy is different than you or I. If you break your arm or something, you have to go to the physical therapy clinic, and they put you on your little regimen, and you go home, and you're supposed to do the bands and whatever. If you don't do your home therapy, you'll get better slower, but you'll still eventually get better. A kid with CP that does not do their home therapy, not only will they not get better, they will get worse. They don't just hold even, they will get worse. And unfortunately, the rate at which kids with CP actually do the home therapy regimens is abysmal. I mean, they really just don't. And when they do, it's far and few between. And you can't expect to see results when you're only doing therapy once a week in a clinic. So a home therapy system that's fun, that they want to play because it's video games, but that's also using some of the science behind VR to help accelerate what they want to see happening anyway. We believe that there's an interesting formula there that could really move the needle for some of these kids and not only keep them from getting worse, but maybe be the difference between a kid that can use their hand or can't, or walk or can't, and we really think that's where the rubber meets the road.
So what are you going to be talking about in your presentation today?
So today we're going to talk a little bit about the team that is creating this, about Bob and his story as a physical therapist who has cerebral palsy and works with these kids. And we're going to talk about the system and how it works and some of the games that we're developing. But we're also going to talk about the science. And we're going to share some very specific examples of how and why VR has this effect. There are some things that we've already done that we're going to show today that demonstrate why VR can cause your brain to rewire faster. And it makes perfect sense when you see it. And we're going to go through that today in the presentation.
I'm looking forward to that. So what's great about doing business here in Oklahoma?
Oh, gosh. So one of the other people that's speaking today, Jeff Price, has really been pioneering game development through the university setting here in the state, through Oklahoma Christian University and now at OCU. And one of the things that we as a company have found to be incredibly helpful is having universities that are cranking out kids that can do 3D modeling and game development and coding. And we're seeing that happen more and more and more, thanks to guys like Jeff.
Yes.
And to be able to have a ready workforce of students that are graduating and hungry and excited and have the skills that can come in and begin working with our teams to build these incredible products in Oklahoma wasn't true 10 years ago. That did not, that wasn't the way it was 10 years ago. Today it is. And so there's that. There's also the idea that we live in a community that really does put its arms around people that are trying to innovate, people that are doing entrepreneurial activities like this. The first game that we're releasing with the Viribus system is actually called Rumble with Rumble, and it's a Oklahoma City Thunder video game where you're playing a free throw competition against Rumble the Bison. And that's simply because the Thunder saw that we were trying to help kids with CP and we're in Oklahoma, and they said, hey, let's do this. And they came in and gave us the rights and the license to use their brand.
Awesome.
And so I just don't think that would have happened in LA. I don't think it would have happened in San Francisco.
There's a lot of collaboration here.
Yeah.
A lot of great things. It's really kind of more of a matter of all ships rise together.
Yes, absolutely.
I've been seeing.
Yeah.
So before we go, is there anything else you want to say or any words of wisdom you'd like to leave our audience with?
Gosh, we're just excited to be doing this work, as you said, in Oklahoma. We're excited that we can be creating a system that can be used by educational institutions around the world, but that the core development happened here in our state. And clearly the sky's the limit in Oklahoma City, and the state overall. Tulsa's doing incredible things too, and I think you're right. Rising tide lifts all the ships, and the collaboration is phenomenal here, and we should leverage that to the max.
All right. Well, thank you for your time. We're chatting with us.
Yeah,